Hell of a thing. They're still doing it. White male wears blackface, but this time to commit murder. Put it up full mass. Interesting twist on the blackface saga. A man in Texas shot his ex-girlfriend and stabbed her 44 times. You heard that correct. He shot and stabbed her while wearing a dark foundation in a twisted plot by his fiance to raise the victim's child. November 16th episode of 48 Hours took a closer look at the Alyssa Burkett murder case. Convicted killers Andrew Charles Beard, Holly Elkins, left and center, gambled on a racist stereotype to avoid detection and almost got away with it. 33-year-old Beard, a white male from Texas, was disguised in blackface when he brazenly killed his ex-girlfriend, Alyssa Burkett on the right, in broad daylight, whom he shared a daughter with. Let me give you some background. Holly Elkins had, quote, dreamt of a life with Beard, prosecutors told 48 Hours, and orchestrated the twisted plan to get Burkett out of the way so the couple could raise her daughter, Willow Ann, as their own. The toxic couple has spent months terrorizing and stalking the 24-year-old. And on October 2nd, 2020, things then took a deadly turn. Donning dark foundation makeup and also fake facial hair, Beard followed Burkett from her home to her workplace, even purchasing a new SUV for the occasion. That's according to a press statement from the United States Attorney's Office for the Northern District of Texas. Burkett had just parked in her usual spot in the lot of Green Tree Apartments, where she was a manager, when Beard stepped out of his vehicle holding a gun and opened fire, blasting through her car window. Her face was severely injured, but she miraculously survived and managed to stumble to the landing of the building where her co-workers were inside. Beard then sprinted after her, brandishing a large hunting knife, and slashed her 44 times. Her co-workers, thinking it was an active shooter situation, did not come outside according to witnesses. Now, the irony of this insanely evil plot, rooted not only in evil, but also the evil of racism. Because not only did he want to engage in such a ridiculous and heartless plot due to the toxic nature of his character and relationship, he wanted to make sure a Black male was convicted of it. So he decides, instead of doing this under cloak, he does it in broad daylight in front of her co-workers at her place of employment, so that for sure all of her co-workers can say it was a Black male who did this. Police later noticed a bloody handprint on a window from where she desperately tried to fight for her life. After he fled, her co-workers came outside to help, called 911 as she was gasping for air. But by the time the responders arrived, she was dead. Obviously, this woman had a lot of fight inside of her to live. Beard and Elkins' attempt to throw off police with blackface and avoid detection by security cameras actually worked. Two witnesses described the attack. It was a Black male, and the investigation would have quickly gone sideways if it weren't for the mother speaking up. The mother said something. When Teresa Collar arrived, she told the police, oh, there's more to the story than a random black attacker. Now, wait a minute. Wait. The mother has no investigative background. She comes to the scene. What does she notice? She noticed the level of brutality. She noticed the amount of vigor in order to kill one human being. She said, no, random black man is going to do this. What's the motive? There's no robbery. There's no criminal element prerequisite. This is something you would consider to be a crime of passion, detectives. The mother. So the mother said, nope, no random black man did this. Her daughter was in a bitter relationship, custody battle with Beard over the 1-year-old daughter. And she believed that he and Elkins were evil enough to commit murder. She told the police, and it was reported by 48 hours as well. So 2 hours after the attack, police decided to pull over Beard and Elkins for an alleged traffic violation. They were in a white pickup truck. A search of the vehicle turned up a mountain of evidence, including the makeup used for the blackface disguise, a foundation called Java, that Elkin had purchased from a drugstore 2.5 weeks earlier, that read in the press release from the DA's office. A day later, the SUV used during the murder was discovered abandoned less than a mile from his own home. Inside, he had the black curly beard and adhesive that detectives believe came from a Halloween costume, in addition to blood that was confirmed to be Alyssa's. It was enough to effect an arrest. In 2022, Beard was sentenced to 43 years after pleading guilty to cyber stalking, resulting in death, and using a firearm in a violent crime. Elkins got 2 life sentences for orchestrating the murder, but they may have gotten away with it if their rules had worked. Quote, thank God for her mom. So sad. He bought foundation in the color a black woman would wear to hide his skin color, not a hat, not a long blonde wig, not a ski mask. He wanted a black man to go to jail for it. This is Texas, Huntsville. Here he comes. Read one recent comment on the 48 Hours Instagram account. He knew without a doubt that the cops would not think twice to pin it on a black guy. No mask, no wig, just change the color of his skin, pointed out another. Now, the child's mother has been murdered, and a father who will be in prison for the next 43 years. Okay. Obviously, this is one of the saddest stories you will hear. You have multiple victims, including the child who now really effectively has no parent. Okay. But one commenter said he knew the police would pin this on a black male. Not only that, he knew that the coworkers would tell the police that it was a black male. See, understand, he understood he lived in a societal context, that the narrative would fit the societal context. So when someone says to you, or when they try to defend the elements of racism that exist in America, when they say, oh, no, America's not a racist country. Well, why is it that so many racist white Americans will exploit blackness in order to get away with criminality? Why would they do that? All right. Mr. Mayor, obviously a hell of a story, a lot of twists and turns to sadistic individuals, but the element of racism cannot be ignored in the attempted in the attempt to get away with this murder. What say you?
Yeah, listen, I think we are obligated to consider the fact that this man, like you said, didn't go buy a mask. He didn't wait at night. He didn't hide in the bush. He didn't lurk and wait. He just put on black skin because in America, that's enough to be guilty. We on the 30th anniversary of Susie Smith getting sentenced to life for killing her 2 kids. And for 9 days, this entire country looked for this imaginary black man that she had these people draw up. He did the same thing. I almost believe that this person didn't want to kill her with the shot. He wanted to get out and chase her, which is why he was prepared with the knife, because he wanted people to see him as a black man. That in itself is sadistic beyond what his action was as it pertains to killing his baby mother simply for whatever reasons, maybe because he couldn't have her. Here's what's really dastardly. The officers didn't think as what his mother thought. And I'm thinking, how often are black men in general, people in general, locked up because of laziness? What I hear is laziness in two forms. One, the person who committed this crime, he parked this van or this SUV a mile away from his house. That's the arrogance of knowing that, hey, America's going to sentence somebody black. I ain't even going to take the care to get rid of the vehicle with all the evidence in it. Laziness in him keeping the makeup in his vehicle, riding around town in a white pickup truck like he's going to a country music fest and it's a regular day. And then the laziness on the cop parts that a mother had to tell you, that her daughter was not killed by somebody randomly after she had been shot and then stabbed 44 times. My God.
Insane story. But once again, we highlighted to provide context to those who would choose to spin narratives.